Hi, my name is Ryan Moseley with NP Dodge Omaha, and I'm here with
Alex Drake with Lincoln Federal Savings Bank.
And we're just going to bring you a monthly update on some of the statistics as they come out each month for the Omaha market, looking at the real estate market, but also the trends in the mortgage market, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
All right. So I'll put the graphic up on the screen here, but here in Omaha, the stats for December showed that pending listings were down over last year by 3%, not a huge significant number. Home inventory, we're looking at 1.3 months. It's been, in the past year, it's kind of hovered around 1 month or below sometimes even. So 1.3 is maybe an improvement over what we've seen in the past. Looking at the new construction, 6.3 months, that's a pretty good supply of new construction homes. Just driving anywhere in Omaha, you're going to see tons of construction everywhere, especially out northwest and southwest Omaha. So it's no surprise that we have a good supply of new construction homes. But people need to have the existing homes as well for the market to do real well. Median sale price, as you can see, is $290,000, which over the year is about 5% increase. That's about average per year we usually see, and how home sales or home values will increase. And then closed units over last year were down a little bit, but year to date we're up a little bit. But
Yep.
again, so this is December, what we've seen in the market. Obviously, the filming of this, we're midway through January. Alex, what are you seeing in the mortgage market as far as interest rates? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, mortgage rates are extremely volatile right now. We were just talking about it off air. There's not a real answer yes or no one way. I've been advising all my clients going under contract. If you can swallow the payment with where it's at right now, lock in that rate. I personally played the rate game back in November and lost, or technically October. I don't advise anybody to try and play the rate game and hope they drop down. If you end up locking in at a higher rate, you can always ask your lender to renegotiate up to about 14 days before closing to see if you can get a better rate if they drop while you're in the middle of your transaction. But also looking ahead, if you will end up at a higher rate, you're going to get the opportunity to squeeze the trigger on a refinance sooner than the people who either bought down to a rate lower than what it is today, or they got a slightly better rate because they won the rate battle game. So
You want to tell us real quick what your experience was, how you say you lost that game?
yeah, so when I went under contract for my house in late September, early October, I had the opportunity to lock in a really good rate, a rate that I hadn't seen in about 18 months, doing this every day. And looking at the data, my loan officer and I both felt rates were going to come down, and we ended up being forced to lock at about 0.75% higher than where I had the opportunity originally, just because of the volatility in the market right now. So I used to tell people prior to the pandemic, I had a 50-50 shot at being right if I was going to tell you rates were going to go up or down the next day. Post-pandemic, we're sitting at about 25% accuracy there. We're getting back to a normalized market. We're not quite there yet, and obviously with a shift in policy and regimes in the White House, it's added some uncertainty to the market, which it does all the time. So hopefully at the end of January, moving through the first quarter of the year into the spring, we'll see a more normalized market again where we can gauge that stuff a lot better.
In regards to the election, I've seen statistics over the past, since the 80s that it doesn't matter who wins, it's the change itself
Yes.
that causes volatility in the interest rates.
Correct.
Agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I'll get you the slide, but I shared that on Facebook a few months ago as well. I think one thing that we should be looking for here in the Omaha market specifically, your data here says about 6.5 months of new construction available. I think one thing that we really need to be on the lookout for is cost of lumber with the fires in California.
And if tariffs go through in Canada.
Yeah.
We get a lot of our lumber from Canada. So.
Yeah, there could be a ton of different things that affect the cost of building new homes.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, like I thought with the fires in California, I've dealt with this in hurricanes on the East Coast. I've never dealt with the fire scenario. I don't deal with it directly as much anymore now that I'm localized specifically. But California just came out and said that they're going to make it easier to rebuild faster. They're going to deregulate a lot, which in theory will help with costs. But on the flip side, are we going to be fighting for more lumber? And so, again, a lot of uncertainty there. So my advice to people is if you are in the middle of building a house and you can lock in a rate for your lumber or anything like that, get that stuff done sooner than later.
That's a good point. So I want to speculate a little bit on what we're going to see as far as January numbers. Anecdotal evidence, yes, but I would say I've seen a lot more activity, buyers and sellers, so far this year. What can you say?
Yeah, so again, mine's anecdotal. I moved over to Lincoln Federal Savings in November personally. So I'm seeing more applications for pre-qualifications now, significantly more than I was even seeing towards the end of the year before I made the change. So that's all good. The one thing I would say in regards to that is there's a lot of data out there showing mortgage applications are actually down as a whole, lowest they've been since 1992. The one thing I turned back on that to people is don't let that scare you, because the government, and this is data, only marks it as an application once there's a property identified, so once they're under contract. I and the other loan officers in my office, we're seeing a lot more applications than we're actually used to this time of year for pre-qualification.
Okay, so maybe a good sign.
Yeah, I think it's a great sign. We need more inventory. So, and my conversations with multiple realtors says that there's inventory coming. So,
I would agree with that, just from kind of what I've been seeing and people I've worked with. So, all right, well, thanks, Alex. Just a brief little update for you guys. We're using December statistics, and we're going to try to come back in February and give you an idea what January looked like, and maybe do a little speculation from that point.
yeah.
Anything else you got?
No. Obviously, if you have questions about any of this stuff, reach out to Ryan. Reach out to myself. Ryan will tag my Facebook in here, and that'll give you all my contact information. And I'd love to have any conversations and help you guys out any way I can.
Yep, definitely. All right, thank you.
All right.